Is Lydi, and I am an artistic freelancer, and I recently pivoted to, I know it sounds weird, but maths tutor, because I have both the artistic side and the technical side as well. So I now offer tutoring services to those who feel maths is so daunting, and then I approach it with a bit of a creative side where it takes all of the pressure off of the person and they don't feel like it's this exam venue. So that's what I've pivoted to doing recently. I signed up for it was a 1 hour strategy session, and that was something I signed up for in December last year. It was actually quite flawed because I wasn't expecting to have such insights, because normally I would expect it to be like, okay, let's get the pens out, which I still love. I love getting pens and papers and writing stuff down, but Bill and I had a conversational, it was like a conversational pace, and it was just, there were so many insights that were popping up that I didn't even think about. Like, I've been doing this for almost 10 years and running this full-time for about almost 2.5 years. And that was the first time that those insights were actually popping up. So I think those were kind of like the gaps he was filling in, things that I didn't understand on my own. He already knew from a financial perspective and accounting perspective what the client would be seeing and what I was missing. So those are the things that I benefited. Initially, I thought my pricing was the problem, and it actually wasn't the problem. And as Bill and I were talking, he kept on, kind of like an archaeologist, was digging deeper, but very carefully. And eventually he said, it seems like your clients are not price sensitive, they're actually value sensitive. And I just paused and my brain almost exploded, because I said, of course. I couldn't even believe it, because usually my clients look around. So they look for other artists and they look and they compare. And I love that, because it means that if I win, in a way, if they choose me, I've been doing something right. And it's because they said, it's your quality, your design stood out to me, all of those things. And I chose you even though you were more expensive. So that's how we determined, because your pricing is not an issue, maybe they're actually value sensitive. And I figured I wasn't really communicating the value properly to my clients. And that was the biggest takeaway. And I thought, how have I been trudging along, dragging my feet for 10 years and not known this? And so that was one of the biggest insights that I got. With feeling like my pricing was the problem, and what I would do is I would bounce up and down with pricing. It'll be like, I'll have the certain pricing, my clients will call me out for being too cheap, and then I'll just quadruple my pricing. And then because I didn't communicate the value, no one really books. Maybe 1 or 2 people will take me up, 3 if I'm lucky. And then I feel like my pricing would go up, and then I'd lower it again, and then I'd jump it up again, and then I'd feel like something is wrong with me. And so I think I would be stuck in that loop of, my pricing is a problem, I'm too expensive, I'm too cheap, I'm too expensive, and then just bouncing around with both, not knowing why my pricing wasn't a problem. I feel like after Bill and I spoke, I feel like I have a stronger strategy. I actually understand what a strategy is in the first place, because normally you hear brand strategy, this strategy, you have to have a strategy. But now I've fully understood what that strategy was, and I geared up into action. I even drew out it's in my other room, but there's this A3 page, and I just wrote from the beginning, like what the client journey was, and then all the arrows, like what could go wrong or what I could have missed out and all of that. So it's like a map now that I know what to do. And also at the same time, Bill brought up that if I'm working on creativity workshops, which is one of the ideas that I had, because my pricing, just like my ideas, I go from A to Z to B to Y to C to X. And so Bill asked, what is one of the economic engines that you've got? What can you do now that can bring in some more money while you work on these creativity workshops, because it's a new thing? And I said, well, I could tutor maths because I've always wanted to do that for many years, and I didn't get around to doing that. And then I said, now that I've got the idea of creativity workshops, I can make them mathematical creativity workshops and have that as an economic engine because it's in high demand. So many people need maths tuition. And so I said, while the market is hot, I can find clients, get a lot more and get a lot more busy, and then work on the creativity workshops. But I think one of the biggest benefits was also not jumping ideas, just, okay, settle on one, find the economic engine and work on that. And yeah, those are the two long-term takeaways. And I love maths and I love creativity. So both in one offer, I love it. And so I feel like that's the biggest two long-term takeaways, is that strategy of actually knuckling down and saying, okay, what's your path? And then the second one is finding that idea and working on it. And that's going to take me a long way. Yeah. I would say not exactly similar, but I have worked with accountants before where I expected something similar. Like that one session that I had with Bill, out surpassed everything that, and I'm not trash talking, pardon, I'm not trash talking the accountants because they did great work. And I also feel like just Bill was just way like light years ahead, where he could foresee what I needed just in that hour's session. And the other accountants couldn't offer that in a couple of months. And I said, okay, there's a gap. Yeah. Better get on it because it will give you clarity. And I feel like it was one of the most helpful things that I needed at that time, because even like with me, the way I like to do things, I like to rough it out on my own. So sessions like that, where you have a very intensive session with a professional and you're left with all these insights, and now I can take those insights and work them into ideas and quickly pin on the maps and just find my own way forward, which tremendously helped. I feel like an offer like that is exceptionally helpful, and it's kind of like it helped me find where I was, especially on the bigger confusing map. After that one session, it felt like, okay, I know where I am. It's like the big "you are here" sign, and then it's that you want to get here, and then I found out where I was on the map, which is just exceptionally important. So I would absolutely recommend a strategy session.